Sorry about 9:06. I'm late. I'm horribly late. I know it. Okay. First and foremost, yes, things look a little different, but it's only because I'm in a new chair, and the new chair is not like the bouncy house, the hippity hop that I used to have, or yeah, because it's out on the curb. Um, so I have the boss's old chair, and so it is. I mean, it is ergonomically sound and everything, and she got a new chair for herself, and then that meant that I got her chair and brought it down here. And so now it's here in the office. And so you don't get to see as much of the hats and everything, but you do get to see stuff. So I'm in a new chair, and huzzas and hoorays and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I am sitting a little lower, but that's really the only difference. Chair is a chair. I'm here and you're there. Sorry about 9:06. I was trying to get some stuff done. And all right. So I guess what we can do is this. Okay, so tonight, you know that it is a big night for us on the high school side of things. 7 o'clock kick. It's going to be me and Maddie at West Forsyth for West Forsyth and Brookwood. Two of the top 10 teams, and this is quarterfinal action to get out of your bracket, to get out of your quadrant. So tonight, 7 o'clock start. We'll be on a little before. Brookwood and West Forsyth, two of the top 6 teams nationally, according to Max Preps. We've got that on the board at 7 o'clock. We just added, and this is another reason that I was on at 9:06. We just added in Class A at 5:30. Jason is going to be at Model for Model and Jeff Davis. And so Model and Jeff Davis is on at 5:30. My guess is, well, and one of them will obviously be on SDH 1, and one of them is going to be on SDH 2. Model and Jeff Davis, Class A D1 girls, upper right-hand side of the bracket. Number 6, Jeff Davis. Number 2, Model. It's going to be on from Model. 5:30 kick on the network. So Class A D1 girls, 5:30. Class 6A girls, Brookwood and West Forsyth, 7 o'clock. So we've got a doubleheader. We've got, it's not really a doubleheader. It's got 2 matches, one at 5:30, one at 7 o'clock. Literally, we just added the 5:30 with Model and Jeff Davis as we were going on the air. So Jason will be at Model and Jeff Davis. Maddie and I will be at Brookwood and West Forsyth. And that's how we're starting things off, at least on the high school side of things. Noon today, it's going to be Red Clay Soccer Report. We're going to have both coaches on. Jason Galt from West Forsyth is going to join us off the top. Dr. Mike Tolmick from Brookwood's going to join us at 12:30. We'll go through all your matchups and your times and everything. So it's girls quarterfinals today, boys quarterfinals tomorrow, Wednesday nothing, Thursday girls semifinals, Friday boys semifinals. Yeah. So it's Thursday it's girls semifinals, Friday is boys semifinals. And then that gets us to next week. Our coverage ends on a live match on Friday. We turn it over to the NFHS network, and you'll hear a lot of familiar voices next week. Luke Winstall and I are going to be at Upson Lee. Then you're going to hear Maddie and Jason, and you're going to be Nick and Justin Hanover. So that's going to be next week. You're going to have 3 separate crews, 3 sites, Upson Lee, St. Pius, and Duluth High School. And so it's going to be Luke Winstall and myself at Upson Lee, Maddie and Jason at one site, and then Justin and Nick are going to be at the 3rd site. We're going to have all of that for you on the NFHS network. So our coverage ends this week. It ends on Friday. We don't know where we're going to be Thursday or Friday yet. We've got an idea where we want to be tomorrow. When we've got that solidified, we'll let you know. As a result of high school today, there's no SOT tonight. So that, just so you know, there's no SOT tonight. We've got high school action 5:30 and 7 o'clock on the network. Go to soccerdownhere.net, hit the listen tab. You'll see the players. One will be live at 5:30. They'll both be live at 7 o'clock. So that's the easiest way to do it. So this week, there's not going to be any SOT, but I do have the rundown of the games of the week, and we have all of those things. So that's today. Today is here, Red Clay at noon, with the 2 coaches that are going to be at the 7 o'clock game tonight. Then it's going to be 5:30 and 7 matches tonight, no SOT. Then later on in the week, because of things going on involving U.S. soccer, Thursday we're not going to have a morning show because of the ribbon cutting at the National Training Center. We'll have all of that reporting for you, and that'll be up on the network on Thursday. And we'll probably have a power hour Thursday afternoon, getting you set for wherever we're going to be Thursday night for high school. And so that means that obviously Nino and Nico get juggled. And I think Nino is going to be on Friday. I've got to catch up with Nico and find out what his schedule is. So the Thursday guests kind of get juggled a little bit, but that's the rundown for the week. 2 high school games today, 5:30 and 7 o'clock. Red Clay Soccer Report at noon with the 2 coaches from West Forsyth and Brookwood. Abe coming up in a couple of minutes. Rob Husted, hopefully from his laptop in his planning period at Greenbrier at 9:30. Bart at 10. We'll go through cards and calls and Yanks abroad and things like that. And we've got a lot of highlights and posts and things to get into in the final half hour, plus all the things that we missed with the AM news and all that kind of stuff. So that is the rundown for today. It's a little all over the place, or a lot all over the place, but we'll get it all to you here in just a little bit. So morning, David. Morning, Ricky. And thanks for coming in as you always do. So we got stuff to talk about. It's an Atlanta United, actually it's a big Atlanta United weekend period because of the Atlanta United win over the visitors from Montreal, and the Twos getting the win at Carolina Core earlier Saturday, where they get the 2-1 win on the road. Cameron Dunbar with a brace. And so Atlanta United 2 is third right now in MLS Next Pro in the Eastern Conference. So that's kind of where we are. We're going to be going through all of this. And tomorrow we'll be catching up on the rest of Major League Soccer and all of the things. So very, very busy weekend. Like I said, we got highlights and posts and Abe and Bart. And speaking of Abe, wasting no time, 7 minutes in. So this is where we bring in Abe Gordon to discuss things from the Imitation Palatial Studios of 92.9 The Game in the Colony Square. The World Series golf shirt today, sir?
Yeah, just what I grabbed out the
first one that was available.
Thing.
One that was available to you.
Look, we got 2 teams in Atlanta that are winning right now, and this is one of them. All right,
absolutely true. And it was, it was a little angst laden to begin with the first handful of minutes, say the first 20, before the engine turned over on Atlanta United. Then they were dominant the rest of the second half, the rest of the first half, the second 25 minutes. Get that goal at the beginning of the third section of the game, 50th minute with Saba. You saw a couple of dudes in Saba and Latte Lot we're not used to seeing on the score sheet. So surprises here, surprises there, 90-minute performance hanging on and getting a win that honestly you were favored going in. I think you were even money plus 100 in the juice boxes. So folks were anticipating a win. You come out with a win, and you've got 3 wins on the spin in 2 different comps.
Well, the question is, over the last 3 matches, what's changed for Atlanta United? Part of it is quality of competition. There's no denying it that Charlotte ran out a bum squad. Is that what B squad stands for? Bum squad? But look, that's their choice. And you still have to finish the drill, and they did in the U.S. Open Cup. And look, if Orlando wants to run out their C squad, that stands for crap squad, then I'm hoping for that too next week, But look, you have to deal with your level and the level that Atlanta United has been playing at well before this run of results, I think was a quality level. Look, they weren't the best team in MLS and just happened to lose games, but they also weren't completely run out of the building week by week by week. Not recently, certainly earlier in the season, yes. And it felt like, hey, man, I don't know what's going on here, but they feel like they're playing better than another loss or another loss. And they feel like they're playing better than you were clean-sheeted once again. And that brought a lot of frustration out of me when I joined you. It's like, who's scoring goals? That you're playing well enough to score goals, score some darn goals. You finally are getting a little bit of that. And in turn with that, right, comes 2-1 victories or 3-1 victories. And it is by some different players than maybe we had used to, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But the question that I open with is what's changed, and are you really doing anything dramatically different right now than you were, say, against Chicago, or going back some of those results that didn't go in your favor? I don't see that much difference.
Right.
I see a result that is now in line with the performance. The difference is you started poorly in this one and recovered.
Right.
Whereas in other matches, I think you have started well, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and weren't able to exercise any goals there. And then as the game started to slip, the other team scored and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But we've seen good performance just come up flat result-wise. I thought this was a result, that again, the performance has kind of been in line with what you've had. The difference is you scored goals. And that's where you get into a couple of different things. We'll take the first goal, man. Whatever. Like, it's fine. It's good power from Saba, but like that obviously should be saved, but I don't care. We'll take it. We anything can happen. Put the ball on net. Good things happen, right? Like, just
put the ball in play, brother.
That's why I've always wanted more shots from outside. Like, dude, you'll hit a ball upper 90. Like, who cares? Like, just take some shots, deflections, goalie misplays, whatever it is. I don't care. We'll see what happens. And so Saba gets on the scoreboard, and then this is something we have seen from Saba over his time here in Atlanta. He can go on 4, 5, 6 match heaters where he's just carrying the team offensively. I'm not saying necessarily this is it, because we've also seen at times a good game won't lead to anything from him, but we've seen him just catch heaters and be super dangerous in MLS play. And so hopefully that is what's happening. But you look at goals number 2 and goals number 3. It's such a nice team goal, both of them. The finishes, first from LaTeLoth for the second goal right before half, Saba on the brace right after half. Those are the easiest finishes those two guys have had all season because of the setup play. Yeah. And look, LaTeLoth is involved in his own setup there, right? He gets the ball from Cooper on a nice break, plays it towards the touchline for Moranchuk. Moranchuk draws a defender, draws the goalie, plays it back to LaTeLoth. 2/3 of the goals open, punch it in, and he did. And similar for Saba. Cooper draws in 2 defenders. The guy who's on Saba has to bite on Cooper. Cooper lays it off, and the keeper's not able to get there either. And so just really nice team goals, easy finishes, which is just not something we've necessarily had. We've had some team goals here, but not easy finishes. That was certainly 2 of them. And so, yeah, look, does this get Saba going? I hope so. I mean, that's the goal. The thing about LaTeLoth, especially when you saw Fafa Pico go down after 12 minutes coming on as a sub, is now he may be counted on more. Is there that pressure that has not just been sitting on him because he's a DP, but it's just been sitting on him because he's felt the desire to score goals? How much of that is now off of him? And does that change how he's able to either play or to produce more specifically? I don't think it's going to change his play style, but does it change what production you can count off of him? Because obviously there's a huge difference between if he's scoring goals, if he's being dangerous, or what we've seen most of the time here where he's largely irrelevant. And if you could get him going along with what you already have, and again, this is why I brought up the Moranchuk criticism a week ago. I never understood it. I didn't know it was happening until like the day before, but I was like, what are you guys talking about? And then you see him in this game, 2 primary assists, outstanding play, obviously an incredible goal midweek against US Open Cup against, I mean, if you want to criticize the DPs, I get it. You need to make sure you criticize 2 specific DPs and let Moranchuk do his thing because he's been outstanding. But yeah, man, I say we restart the season. Who wants a piece of Atlanta United right now? Who wants us?
So you want me to roll the show open again?
Unplug it, restart it, and then, yeah.
I mean, you've mentioned Alexei Miranchuk, and you've seen a bunch of different things from Alexei as the DP, now wearing the captain's armband, the unselfishness, the vision, especially on the LaTeLoth goal where he draws Gillier out, and you have the back and forth with Cooper LaTeLoth out to the edge, and Alexei, he's at a 45-degree angle. He can go short side if he wants to because he's got traffic off to his left, but the idea and the vision to lay it off So Latte Lot gets the slam dunk. And so you're seeing a bunch of different things happening at once. It's the vision, the unselfishness, the captaincy, all of these things coming together for Alexi right now.
Yeah. And look, there's something that Alexi has done at times in his career that I think makes him more dangerous in the matches that follow. And I know this is going to sound very simple for some reason, at least in my brain, it sounds simple. I think we need to rewatch games after he cuts back and scores on his left foot and how teams defend him. Because if I were a manager, I don't know if I'd be defending Alexi as a goal scorer. But I think there's so much concern about him getting the ball onto his left foot, bending it far corner, that people have started to try and take those angles away. Bro, I welcome that because I think he's much more dangerous as a passer with the vision and the pacing on his passes when players are correctly playing off of him. And you got to give Latte Loth credit here. He's got two options, right? Option number one, sprint towards the back post, right? And if that ball comes across the face of goal, he's there to tap it in. If it's a shot that bends the wrong way or get deflected, whatever. Or the option he chose, sit, find a pocket, give him space. If he shoots, he shoots. But if not, you're there. And so I do think you have to give Latte Loth credit there. And that also then certainly goes into the credit of Moronchuk finding him. And it's a split-second look. It's a split-second vision. Did he go back post or is he still middle of the box there? And he said, I see him. He's middle of the box, and these two guys have not closed down the lane, so let's take it. I just look, this is nothing new. You and I have talked about this for a year and a half. His vision, his understanding of positioning, his knowledge of his teammates, all of that rolls into it. Plus the fact that, again, when he puts it on his left foot and has some space, he can do what he did there. Free kick, and then obviously the goal against Charlotte. The way he contorted his body, the way he changed his center of balance to get weight on that left foot, even though he's rolling to his right. Really, honestly, crazy. It might have been my favorite of his left-footed goals just because of what he had to do body control-wise. But he's dangerous, and danger comes in different ways. He's not a dribbler, right? We have to accept that. He's not going to run by guys. He's really not going to attempt for the most part, to run through guys with his dribbles. Now, he may run perpendicular and create space on his left. We've seen that, but he's not going to dribble through a defense. And that's fine because he's going to let the runs do the dribbling for him, and he'll pick out the right pass. He's been outstanding. Still the team's leading goal scorer. His assists have been invaluable. His hold-up play has been invaluable. He's been wearing the armband while Miggy's recovering from the knee injury. I think it's a great look for him. And again, it goes back to the couple games ago before you won a couple of games and everyone's yelling about DPs. And I totally understand that. But one DP was carrying his weight. One DP was doing what you brought him here to do. And that was Alexi Moronchuk.
Yep. All right. So another individual that I wanted to discuss, and it is Cooper Sanchez, and part of the Academy Brigade. And Cooper is, we're surprised, but we're not surprised, if that makes any sense, because of being 18 years old, having the carry with him, having the carriage and the knowledge and the confidence and all these kinds of things. And it was another game where we got to see a bunch of different things from Cooper, whether it was defensively, creating 2 steals, creating issues for CF Montreal. Don't you get over my teammate. I'm going to be the first guy in the pile kind of a thing. It's like, get away from him. We saw a bunch of different things from Cooper, who we have to continually be reminded is 18 years old.
Yeah, when you get to these homegrowns that come in, I think your approach and mindset about them as a fan or as an analyst kind of comes in waves, right? I think it came in waves when Jay Fortune did his thing. I think it came in waves with Matt Edwards. I think even with guys like Noah Cobb when they were called upon, it kind of comes in waves. And I think with Cooper, we've now hit that second wave. And the first wave was, let's see what he's got. then that kind of rolls into, okay, he's doing pretty well holding it down until injured guys get back. He hasn't made these mistakes. He hasn't cost you, blah, 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 blah. That's all part of the first wave, is just a couple of games from this guy, and he's not a disaster. He belongs, right? That's wave one.
Mm-hmm.
We're now into wave two, where you're actively making a difference in the game, and we shouldn't be surprised by it. We're now in wave two, where the expectation for you is you're now our mainstay midfielder, and we might need to find a new contract for you. We're in wave two, where the game turns at two different points in this match recently because of direct decisions, impact plays that you made. Being a midfielder and being an impact midfielder are not the same thing. And look, this is not to suggest that he's going to control and dominate every game that he plays moving forward here. This is soccer. You'll have some good, you'll have some bad. It's understandable. But I do think there's now an elevated expectation that comes along with the performance that he's shown. And that's a good thing, right? And I don't think he's going to feel pressure of that. I think he's just going to do what he's been doing. But as a fan, my mindset is no longer, let's just see what we can do with the side of the field that he's on. It's now he's on this side of the field. We feel pretty good about it, both offensively, defensively, and everything else that encompasses. And so, again, it's just another example. And I've made this argument for Jay Fortune. The team feels better when he's in there. I know there's positionally a little bit of cluster, but I really like what Matt Edwards brings when he's in there. But more than Matt, certainly, and maybe even more than Jay right now, just because Jay was so late to getting into the club with the injury. Like Cooper's obviously just a guy you're throwing in there every single week, every single match. There's just no denying it. The impact that he's had and all of it. And I know he kind of talked about it jokingly. I thought I'd be in here for a couple of games just until injured guys get back. I mean, that's the whole point, man. Like make yourself so good, so useful, so impactful that when injured guys come back, they're like, cool, man, enjoy the bench. Like, you'll come get me when I'm 80 minutes in and tired. And that's what he's done. He's just been very solid, very strong. And now we've slid into that second wave where it's not, hey, man, he's just holding down the fort and he's a young guy. No, he's a member of this team, and he's helping lead it. He's helping carry it. He's making an impact. And that's all you can ask, really, for any new player, right? I think I don't care about the age. I don't care about the homegrownness of it. Although I understand there is a discussion about, playing for this club and the crest and all that crap. I don't care about that. I don't care about that in terms of on the pitch, because I look at him the same way I look at Elias Baez or Matthias Galarza or anyone that comes in new to the club at any point for whatever reason. The same as I did Latte Loth at the start, or Lexi before that, or Saba. You can go on back. To me, it's always about, all right, first couple of matches, you're feeling things out. Like, can we hit a stride here? And do we feel good about you holding down whatever position you've been tasked with holding down? And the answer for Cooper, yes, homegrown, yes, young, yes, injury replacement at the time, all of that. The answer is yes. And so we move forward with him as potentially a long-term piece of this puzzle.
Matt Edwards under contract through 26 and option year for 27. Jay Fortune, this is the end of his contract. No option year here. Will Riley, homegrown through this season. Option years 27, 28. Cooper Sanchez through 26. Option years 27, 28. Those are the decisions Chris Henderson gets to make, and that's why he gets paid the big bucks. Good to see you, my friend. Great to always talk about wins.
Yeah, it is. Hoping we can grab one more. We got one more home game, John, here against the Los Angeles Galaxy, and then they're on the road unless the U.S. Open Cup gets thrown somewhere in Atlanta until August 15th. So, yeah, just after my birthday. So there you go.
See, now that you celebrate your birthday, you come back, they're back at home.
Hopefully we have a bunch more wins between now and my birthday, but yeah.
What he said. At Abe Gordon at 92.9 The Game. Good to see you, my friend. Way to start things off.
You got it, John. Have a good one.
There he goes, Abe Gordon. He's on a rant. All right, here we go. He's in his planning period. He's in his car. Hi, Rob.
Hey, how are you?
You tell me.
It seems to be working so far. I'm afraid to touch anything to change it, though.
Don't touch anything. And there it went. Oh, yeah. That's what I thought.
As soon as I started talking, it's got to be something with the mic access.
That could be. It's we're trying to catch up with you before the Lassiter game tonight. So before it all dies on you, what's the latest? That's what I'm thinking. That's what I thought. Unbelievable. Yeah. So Rob's in his planning period, getting ready for the match tonight against Lassiter, and it is a home game for them. As we get ready, it's kind of like a red clay update with Rob. Greenbrier comes in 5A, and they are the region champs out of Region 1. Lassiter is traveling out there. Lassiter beat Northgate in PKs, and Greenbrier 4-3 winners over Johns Creek in the last round. So let's see as we go here what's going on with Rob. I love your car.
Thanks. I tried something a little different. I put my earbuds in. Maybe it's with the microphone itself.
Nope, not with the microphone. It is something with the signal, and I don't know what it is. And we have tried to literally troubleshoot this with the folks from Restream and find out what's going on. 30-second preview. What are you expecting tonight? I didn't even get that much. Goodness. Oh man. I wish there was a way that we could do audio.
Are you there? I'm expecting a dog fight.
Oh. Oh boy. Restream and I are going to have issues.
It's something in my settings with the microphone isn't letting me do this, because as soon as I started talking.
As soon as you start talking, it dumps. Right. It's got to be something in there. So yeah, that's where we are. So we think it's something with Rob's microphone in his car, with his phone, because he's in his phone, and we've done it this way in the past. So who knows? Rob gets a gold star and he gets the gear. So 30-second preview. What do you think? I don't even get that far. Unbelievable. Not a shock. This is crazy. 30-second preview. Go.
It's gonna be.
It's not even letting me get that. Unbelievable. Like every single time. Well, Dell, and that's the thing, is that Rob has tried everything. We have tried everything in getting this squared away, and Rob gets a tip of the hat and the gold star and everything. We've tried everything from turning the Wi-Fi on, and because it's like Wi-Fi off, but he's blocked because he's in a parking lot at a high school and all of that. So it literally is having to, and he is going through the recommended Chrome. It's either Chrome or Safari, whichever one they recommend for his phone. He's doing that. Wi-Fi's been turned off. He's in a parking lot, and the folks in the county are like, they're blocking him from talking to us. They don't want him to give us a preview. So we end up with this with Rob. So we end up with this. So it's always an adventure.
Phone keeps resetting on me.
So
I've tried everything.
Man. Oh boy. So yeah. So I'm legitimately, I'm out of answers. I really am. 30-second preview, go. Won't even give it to me. Won't even give it to me. So this is something that we have we've had
and lack of depth right now, just from
Yep. This is frustrating. It's profoundly frustrating. Really frustrating.
Why is it doing this?
I don't know, and it's confusing me. I don't know. I really don't. And it's like the more times he logs in, the less the signal goes. So I don't know. I'm just as confused, Rob. I've talked to the powers that are, and you've done all the right things. I have no idea. And so we end up with Rob Husted in a parking lot at Greenbrier High School in suburban Augusta, And it's like it gives me less and less and less of Rob each and every time. Literally each and every time.
I don't know what's going on. I can't.
And I don't either. Yeah, it is annoying. And that's the thing, Dell, is that Restream will tell me, because of his phone, if you go in this way, if you have a certain phone, you go in through this kind of a browser. If you have a certain phone, you go in through Chrome. If you have a certain phone, you go in through Safari. Rob's doing that. So literally it is all of that he's got. And he turned his Wi-Fi off, and he's in his car in the parking lot. And we've done these interviews before in his car in the parking lot. So I don't know what I have no idea. I'm out of answers. I'm out of questions, because Rob is doing all the right steps. But we're all learning along, and this is Opening Kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. We're all learning about Restream together through the motions of Rob Husted, the girls' coach at Greenbrier, as they're getting ready for Lassiter tonight in suburban Augusta. And just to give you an idea, Red Clay Soccer Report is going to be at noon, and we're going to talk about our 7 o'clock game tonight. And it's going to be West Forsyth and Brookwood. Start your day with the most important stories in the game, the right way to start your morning. Black Pitch Coffee, part of the SDH community, showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala, heavy-bodied. Notes of walnut and semi-sweet chocolate and a rich world-class finish. Opening Kickoff, powered by Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Yeah, it is weird. It is annoying. And I've literally had conversations with our parent provider of, hey, here's the deal. And when you're in a cell phone, when you're going through your cell phone on campus and you're encased in the concrete, that's one thing. That's one reason that folks will freeze up and not have any kind of a response. But literally, Rob has done everything correct. So I don't know what it is. But I wanted to get the preview in from Rob, considering we tried to have him on Friday, getting ready for everything. And so, it was just as chaotic when we were trying to have him on then. But, yeah, to let you know just quickly, 5A girls, Greenbrier. Actually, I need to find out what the who's he what's-its are, the rankings. So while we're talking about it, it is girls 5A rankings, and I was going to go here. So, Rob.
I've tried everything I can.
And I know you have, and we have tried the whole thing. And, yeah, it is an adventure.
I think the only option is for me to go home and use my personal computer at this point.
That might be. It might be. If you do that, or use a computer inside the high school. So I'm going to shoot Rob an email real quick, because so I'm going to do this. Let's see. So if you can, all right. So
I'm sorry, brother. We'll try it again.
Now, are you going to go home, or are you going to go to a computer inside the high school?
I won't have time to get home and get back.
Okay. So, okay. So you won't have time to.
What I can do.
You won't have time in his planning period. Find a desktop. Noon show is still noon. All right. So noon show. All right. So
again, if I do use my personal computer.
Yeah, you can use your personal computer. That's fine.
Let's try that at noon.
Okay. Good deal. We'll do that. All right. So Rob will do that, and hang on. All right. So you want to do noon show? As I sit here and ask, it might be something with his phone. It actually might. All right, hang on.
Noon. I'll try again.
All right, we'll try again. See you at noon. All right, so there goes Rob Husted and the adventures of Restream. So let's see. So, all right, so let me know. I'm sending Rob an email now. What will work? Noon, 12:15, or 12:45. All right, so that's, and then so I'm going to put in a personal message and sending that to Rob. Okay, so, all right, there goes. That's the email to Rob. So Rob Husted will be joining us in the noon show from a personal computer or something of that effect. Okay, so Bart's going to be joining us here in about 20 minutes. We'll get into highlights and post. Let's do that as a part of today. So, all right, we were discussing it in a couple of different fronts, and we'll go through the goals, and we have versions from both Apple and from Mike and Jason. So Atlanta United's down 1-0, 6 minutes in, and then they come back with a couple of goals on the 40s. So let's go with the goal that ties things up at 1. And here's how it sounded, first and foremost, from 92.9 The Game in the Odyssey app. Mike and Jason on the call.
On the left wing, who returns it to Moranchuk. Down the middle, Amador. Back to Moranchuk. Play through Saba. Top of the box. Takes a touch. Turns and shoots. Score! Listen, all you all. It's a sabotage. Saba's first goal of the season levels the match in the 41st minute.
Always the right time for Saba time. Well-worked build-up from Atlanta United. They play through the middle. Moranchuk plays the 1-2 with Amador, finds Saba, and we've seen him do this so many times here in Atlanta, where he cuts across parallel to goal on the right foot and then hits the shot back against the grain. Gillier's going one way, can't get back to keep it out. 1-1 in the 42nd.
All right, so that was the first version. Tony Husband, Ross Smith on Apple TV and MLS.
There's not a lot of space to try and play centrally. And when Ulafat came in, that was a point of emphasis to make sure that central areas were looked after.
Nicely worked. Lobjanidze trying to find space for the finish, and he scores. It's got past Gillier. He just didn't get enough of a hand on it. And it is an equaliser for the Five Stripes.
The game, because he was always central, always around the ball, and he does just that there. 4 Montreal players that try and converge on him, and he knows the right time to slip it in. Once he gets it to Saba, it's just trying to create a bit of space, and Morales is desperately trying to get a block in. But underneath that...
There you go, Tony Husband, Ross Smith, goal number 1. So we're tied at 1 at this point. And then, as you'll hear from Mike and Jason's version, I feel like Taylor Swift, all of us, it's like, okay, so you've got the original, and then you've got Mike and Jason's version. So Mike and Jason's version will give you the tail end of the first half and the explanation as to why I think we all think what happened to make it 2-1. Once again, Mike and Jason, 92.9 The Game, and the Odyssey app, if I can find it. Here it is.
To Petrasso, and he's dispossessed by Sanchez, who dribbles to the top of the 18. Pass to Saba at the penalty spot. Shot! Score! Listen, all you all, it's a sabotage again! A brace for Saba! And another Cooper Sanchez steal produces a goal for Atlanta United. It's 3-1. a night, Cooper Sanchez. Have a night, Saba.
Wow. Cooper Sanchez pressing high up the field, winning the ball. Grown man football from Cooper Sanchez right there.
Well, that was the Saba goal in the 50th minute. So I jumped ahead of the thing. But so let's do this, because the second goal is actually not scored by Saba. It was scored by Latte Lot. So let's go here.
And now we'll roll it down the middle to Jaime behind center circle. It's stolen by Sanchez. Ahead to Latte Lot, top of the arc. Now to Moranchuk, keeper off his line. Back to Latte Lot. Shot! Score! Montreal trying to run out the clock, and Atlanta United punishes them. And Latte Lot has scored to make it 2-1 Atlanta United.
Boy, did he ever need that. Hasn't been a good half for Latte Lot, but he gets the goal that gives Atlanta the lead at the end. And it's another gift from the captain, Alexei Moranchuk.
2 assists in the half for Moranchuk.
Good pressure as Montreal was lackadaisical at the end. Cooper Sanchez helps win it. Latte Lot plays Moranchuk in, and instead of going to goal, Moranchuk draws the keeper, draws the attention, and then drops it back on a platter for Latte Lot.
That was, we just got the close-up replay. That was such a nifty cutback pass by Alexei.
How about now the Apple version? Once again, Tony Husband, Ross Smith.
That early lead through the man who plays it forward, Longstaff. Now this breaks down, and there are options for Latte Lot. One of those Moranchuk. Oh, back for Latte Lot. He scores! Oh, what a huge goal that is. Not just for Atlanta, but for the man who's put the ball into the net as well, Emmanuel Latte Lot.
And the worst way, trying to play out, and how quickly Atlanta United pounced on the ball as Jaime's too casual. And how unselfish is this? Tata Martino said sometimes you have to look after your players, take them out of the lineup, and then reinsert them at the right moment. And could this be a pivotal moment for Latte Lot in his Atlanta United career? Plays in Moranchuk, who is so unselfish. And as he plays it back.
And then since we've already played Saba's second goal from Mike and Jason, we'll go ahead and play Saba's goal from Tony and Ross.
And playing into where pressure is.
There was a lot of water put on the field before the game. And Petrasso's got into trouble there. This is Cooper Sanchez, and this is Saba Lobjanidze, and it's 3 for Atlanta. Well, it might be about time as far as Saba's concerned. Hadn't scored for almost 2 years.
And Petrasso, he's coming inside to try and get on the ball, and Sanchez does such a great job of just allowing Petrasso to make his mistake without fouling him. And Sanchez, he just rides the wave. He doesn't lean his body in as Petrasso loses his footing and then releases it at the right time. And so does Lobjanidze. Keeps his head, keeps composed. And as Morales is desperately trying to get a block in, Lobjanidze tucks it into the back of the net to make it Saba time for the second time tonight.
And it was Saba time for the second time tonight. So it was a 3 goals on the board, 3-1 final. Atlanta United gets the win. And right now, if you look at things, in the standings in the Eastern Conference, you look at the standings in the Eastern Conference, and Atlanta is a win out of the playoffs. Legitimately, they're a win out of the playoffs right now. And it shows you once again how competitive the Eastern Conference is, A. And if you have a good week, what you can do in the standings. So you end up with where is it? Where's my post game here? So it's like I just want my post game. That's all I want. That's all I'm looking for. That's all I'm looking for, people. That's all I want. because I thought, am I looking in the wrong computer? Because I'm trying to find my post game from, okay. So, of course, I upload it in one place and I don't upload it in the other. So let's do this. All right. So if we go here, and because I was delaying time, it's like, all right, so I'm trying to figure out where's my post game? Where's my post game? Where's my post game? So here is my post game. And it's from a couple of different folks. And with what we got to see from Saba, you could tell after the first goal, and if you got to see the pictures that Vanessa and Sophia were able to put up on the board, it took a while after the first one. Saba just looked like he was relieved more than anything else. And so Saba looking relieved. And then they were like, nah, dude, you got to be happy. You got to celebrate about it. So he finally did. And then after the second one, you got the standard celebration from Saba Lobjanidze. So Maddie and Jason caught up with Saba after the match. And here were his thoughts. And I think a lot of them might have to do with relief.
Big game tonight, 2 goals for you. How you feeling?
I feel great. I feel good. Long time I didn't score, but I'm so happy about that. And honestly, I'm happy because we won the 3rd game in a row, so that means a lot for us,
Calling the game, it's been obvious to see how the confidence has grown within this group, and it feels like there's just so much more of a connection between everybody. Is it just the winning? Is it just the time together?
I think it's time to get together, and honestly, we improve in offensive, a lot of combinations we're doing, and we're trying, we're running, and I think we are using our best, our best skills, so let's see,
Especially with Alexi as well, with those combinations, him wearing the captain's armband. How important is he to this side, especially when you guys are on the pitch, but also off of the pitch too?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great guy off the pitch, and I'm so happy he's here with us. And on the pitch, clearly you can see his quality, and he knows my game, I know his game. So we are trying to use both each other,
Tata talked about building off of each performance and then also continuing to get results for you guys. How important was this win and then continuing to build off of this heading into next week?
Yeah, it's very, very important, and especially winning and strike what we have, and we just have to continue, it's non-stop, and we are still, I think, in the, I don't know, I'm not seeing in the table now where we are. I don't want to see it, but we are just step by step, so it's what we did is good, but it's not enough, of course, the season is long, so we have to be continue and we have to be focused,
Saba Lobjanidze after the match with Maddie and Jason. Not to be outdone, it was an opportunity to catch up with Latte Lot, who was also on the board once again, courtesy of Maddie and Jason after the match inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
I mean, first of all, for you, getting the goal tonight, getting that celebration, I mean, what were you feeling in the moment?
Oh, I feel a lot because it's been a long time. It's emotion you give every time you score. You get big emotions. So I feel really happy for me, for myself, and for the team.
The performances have been coming together, now getting the results too. I mean, what's been clicking for you guys on the field? Is it just the chemistry that you guys have off the field, and then is that connecting and finally working on the pitch for you guys? What has it been the key to success, especially in these last couple of games for you?
Well, the key is, I think, everybody will look and look us in the eyes, and we said the truth between us, and we say we try to find out how we could turn this season, with about a lot of lost. So I can say we stay together. We were staying together, and we keep going to work, and finally we have 3 wins in a row, and I think we're gonna keep going. And
it was a huge celebration after you got the goal. Everybody mobbing you. Obviously, everybody's so happy for you to get that goal. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot because everybody, as you say, everybody came from the bench to hug me because they know it means a lot because maybe they saw me a bit frustrating, So that's really, really good for one team. From one player to see this, really, really happy.
I feel like you have such a good finger on the pulse of the vibe of this team. the young guys have been so important in helping this team's momentum right now with Cooper and Jay and Matt and Luke and Will. How much do they give to the group as a whole?
Oh, they give a lot because they want to learn. So we as what they say
veteran, like established.
No, yeah, veteran. We try to give them a lot of a clue, and the good things that they got the message, so they show us they want to improve, and they want also one day to play in the big league. So that's so important.
Thought a lot after the match. And so, speaking of Cooper Sanchez, here's the conversation that they got to have with Cooper after the match in the locker room. It was Maddie and Jason and Cooper Sanchez. And this was, Cooper really doesn't say a whole lot in interview situations, but he did say a whole lot with very few words. And I thought it was really cool. Give this one a listen.
Kind of a crazy one, give up a goal early, then turn around and have the lead at halftime. How did this thing feel to you?
Yeah, kind of a bit of up and down game, like you said. We go down early, obviously, and we fought. We stayed together and came back and won the game 3-1. So, good team performance.
What did you see in that build-up to the goal with Saba?
Yeah, I think their fullback coming inside. Obviously, fullbacks aren't naturally comfortable, so they're more prone to mistakes. So I decided to, go and press him, and yeah, won the ball, played Saba, and easy goal.
How important was this win for you guys, especially with continuing to build momentum?
I would say very important. Obviously, to get 9 points in a week is, great for us, and we can only build on it now.
What's been the biggest difference in the way that the team is playing in this past week for you?
I would say just seeing results out. Like I talked about the last game, just seeing results out, no matter how our performance is, just winning games now. So
you talked a lot.
Cooper Sanchez after the match. And this was what I thought was really cool. And it was what he saw from a center back where Cooper was looking for tendencies. And he went with tendencies and he jumped on it. Mentioning how, as a center back, you're not comfortable coming inside. So Cooper, and this will be my quest for Joe Fryhofer. So if the Hoff and or Greg Garza can get Cooper in the video room, can they get him in studio, the Emory Healthcare Studios, and have him walk through this play? Spot shadows, the whole thing, draw it up like we do Scana at Mercedes-Benz. I want to know, I want him to walk through this play and let everybody see what he's seeing. To hear him say A, B, C, D and lay it all out there like that, I thought that, when you've got someone who is taking command right now, the way that Cooper is, to have him break down the play like that, I thought that was really cool. And I want to have that visualized. So if the Hoff and Greg and Matt Moore and Robbie Modi and everybody, if they can have him break that play down in the Emory Healthcare Studios, I want to know what he's seeing. And I want to have him walk through that moment. It's like, what are you looking at? And I know that in penalty kick situations, sometimes you'll see keepers and they'll sit there and they'll look for a plant foot. Plant foot's pointing in one direction. You know that the ball's going to be going there 9 times out of 10, unless somebody wants to rotate their hips pretty quickly and then they would send it the other way. But to have Cooper have the foreknowledge and then walk through it like that, I'd love to have him weatherman that on a big board just to kind of let everybody see what he's seeing. So that was a really cool thing for me that was there, that was a part of that whole discussion. So I just, when you have someone who is in that much command right now, that was what kind of stuck with me in the interview with Cooper. Just so you know, it is a May Day bank holiday Monday overseas. So right now, believe it or not, you've got Chelsea and Nottingham Forest going on right now as a 3:00 game local time on May Day bank holiday Monday. So that's going on right now. We're keeping an eye on that over the shoulder. All right. So since it is 10 o'clock, this is where we wander in and discuss Arsenal, maybe, and discuss all the other things with our buddy Bart Keeler, who comes in. We go cards and calls and Yanks abroad and all the things. Bart Keeler, how you doing? And I need turn your microphone on.
John, I am okay.
There you go.
If we're gonna talk Arsenal,
sure.
I feel really hard done by a decision in the Women's Champions League semifinal where VAR determined that a player who was offside was onside. They drew the line, and the part of the body that we use as the boundary was somehow offside, but they said she was onside. But then there was some other decisions, and granted they're not the same, but some decisions in the Premier League that determined that a player with a similar body positioning was somehow offside. So, it's fine, whatever. The check's cleared from Lyon, and that's great for them. we had to get the narrative of Barcelona-Lyon again in the Women's Champions League final. I get it.
Oh, man. So the other matches in the Premier League, sir, that were adjudicated differently than in the Women's Champions League were where, sir?
Yeah, I forget which one it was, but there was a still of a Premier League match where sorry, it just came across my timeline and I was in a rage.
I was going to say, would our buddy Dale have it? You think?
Maybe, but I don't know, because I think the thought was that it was the correct call. So I'm just, a little sore from a loss over the weekend from Arsenal, but at least on the same day we made it up with a resounding win against Fulham. And unfortunately a resounding win against Fulham and a USMNT star.
Okay, so a Benjamin Seshko handball goal.
Oh, we could talk about how Man United's lucky that they didn't get that one. I know we're going to talk about another handball in MLS that may or may not, or should not have been called. Right. But Man United, man, somehow they get lucky enough to get that to not be reviewed or looked at, and then the Premier League Twitter account congratulates them for qualifying for the Champions League, something they've never really done before for a team that qualified. Hey, we didn't get one for Arsenal or Man City, but hey, good for Man United. Good to see small clubs getting back up to the top.
Oh, yes. So there are a couple of things that I wanted to go with you about here. And the first one literally has to do with Atlanta United again. Oh, special interest, which W? You are in serious trouble. Let's see. So special interest, which W? So I've got to go to Twitch. See, this is what happens. And so I need to have like hold music with Bart for a second. Special interest, which W? So there was a public review by Pro on the decision that was decisioned involving Atlanta United and New England. Pro basically rebuked the decision, and I was intrigued by this rebuking, because what you are in fact doing is you are at that point, aren't you? So you're kind of opening yourself to relitigating, which is what you don't want VAR to do in the first place. I mean, just
Yes. I think that is the problem with this coming out. I mean, it feels like 3 weeks later. I know that it's not, but it just feels like it was such a long time from when this match happened. We've had, not 2 full match weeks, but you had the full match week when we went up to Toronto, and then we had basically almost all of last week before they decided to talk about them. So I'm with you. Like, we want to get the right call. I stand by the fact that I think the call on the field, or the call that VAR came to, be it the on-field official or VAR saying, hey, you need to look at that, was wrong. But it's weird that Pro took this long to make a decision or make a statement about the decision.
I mean, it's reminiscent of other refereeing crews and VAR in general. So if you would have used VAR and gone 9 minutes, it would have given you whatever the decision is. So I guess in the studio, in the VAR studio, they were just like, well, we'll take just as long and we'll come up with a decision. So once again, let's walk people through it with pro rebuking the call that was made on the field. But the whole idea is that you're having to deal with line of sight and the interfering of a keeper. So impacting the play is where we are here. So pro said it was adjudicated incorrectly, although we have walked through it and we thought that it was. So you now have chaos in this situation involving this, where we thought it was pretty much of a slam dunk, and now pro is like, no. So let's go back to impacting the play and what that idea encompasses.
Well, y'all seem to think it was a slam dunk. Don't put me in that, because I thought it was a bit weird to call this goal back for being in the line of the side of the goalkeeper when I don't think that was ever really a case. Again, I do understand that, yes, Hoyos has to be aware of the player in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
But you just look at the goal, you look at attacker was in relation to the ball was struck. I don't think he ever was in his actual line of sight. He may have been in his view or periphery, but I don't think he was in a line of sight. So again, I do think I got it incorrect. I stand by that. But the call on the field wasn't anything, and I think that's the biggest thing here is the call on the field was, it's a goal. So again, we have to go back to the clear and obvious error. And while offside position is a black or white statement, right? You're either in an offside position or you're in an onside position.
Turgeman was offside regardless of what was happening in front of him.
He was in an offside position, 100%.
Yeah.
But as the law state, it is not an offense in itself to be in an offside position. And then it lists all the ways that why you would be flagged for being offside. And so again, I think when you talk about like line of sight or impacting the goalkeeper's ability to make a play on the ball or all these things, I do not feel that it did that. I don't think his positioning did that. I had an issue in a game Sunday. It was yesterday. Yeah, my knees still hurt yesterday. And had to make sure that there wasn't a player that possibly could have been in the line of the side of the goalkeeper. And basically, I go over to my AR. I said, "Hey, was he offside?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, well, I didn't really think he was in the line of sight, but I do concede it was on a free kick into the box. So I'm like, okay, you are making sure that there's not did this player's motion impact the goalkeeper's ability to play the ball? And we're like, well, no, because he was never really in the line of sight. He was never really running to a ball that would have impacted the goalkeeper. And so again, for me, the conclusion they came to, VAR and the on-field official came to, was incorrect. I don't think that he interfered with Lucas Hoyos. Again, from the shot itself is what kind of bothers me. Is I'm going, in no way, shape, or form did the attacker being in an offside position affect this ball from going in the back of the net.
No,
that's obviously not what we're looking at. But
do you not, as the keeper, just doesn't things in your periphery?
No, I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's like, okay, well, there's always players in your periphery, and that's kind of the problem here. Is like if line of sight versus possibly maybe could potentially be involved in play are two very different things. I do not think this attacker gained an advantage by being in an offside position. End all, that is what it comes down to. Line of sight, to me, requires you being in front of the goalkeeper, blocking his vision, or in an actual direct spot in front of the goalkeeper. And at no point, in my opinion, was the attacker fully in front of the goalkeeper to block his view of this or impact his decision. Again, if Hoyos is, in my opinion, positioned in a way that does not, not the Hoyos, the attacker, in my opinion, is not in position in a way that is in front of Hoyos' ability to see the ball or even have to react to the shot. It just sure, he is possibly in the peripheral. I concede that.
But is he? But
there are players all the time there. You can't just say, oh, well, there might be a player who's possibly over there. Yes, as a goalkeeper, you're keeping up with all that. Like, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry that Atlanta United got a call that went their way, but it was wrong. Okay. And I know we're using this New England game as some sort of like proof positive that we're actually a good soccer team, but we happen to lose. And we should have been down a goal. It's like, I'm sorry, but like, that's just not what happened here. The goal should not have been called back. The goal should have stood. The attacker was not interfering with the goalkeeper by obstructing his view or being in his line of sight, in my opinion. And clearly Pro agrees with me.
So then, if that is the second act in this timeline, does not Turgeman being offside to begin with at the time the ball is struck, doesn't that blow everything out and it's like he's offside and then that's it?
No. Again, it is not an offense in itself to be in an offside position. Yes, he's offside. He's in an offside position. Absolutely he is. He could be standing on the dang goal line by a post. He absolutely could be there. As long as he's not interfering with the goalkeeper's ability to see or make a play on the ball, which he wasn't. I'm sorry, he just wasn't.
Okay, well,
I don't agree with their viewpoint.
Well, and you and I obviously will agree to disagree, but that's why I bring you on here to discuss these things, because of if there are rules that are written a certain way, then perhaps the issue is with the rule, the way that it is written, as opposed to the rule and how it is implemented. Yes?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, the law itself is written in a way for interpretation, for sure. I would imagine that these pro referees from MLS specifically are getting a lot of training and video training on, okay, this is and this isn't interfering with a goalkeeper like that. And we've seen other goals in this league where it's like very clear that a player was in front of a goalkeeper, and though he didn't make any real impact on the play, well, you can't just be in front of the goalkeeper and say, okay, here we are. But again, the attacker's position was just not there. I'm sorry. I don't know what you say. I disagreed with their conclusion, especially when that to me is very much an opinion on whether or not he was in the line of sight. And
then what you need to do is take opinion out of the way that the law is written and put it into a strict constructionist, as the political science major in me comes out, the strict constructionist way of implementation, to where you take opinion out of the entire conversation. Right. So Pro basically said this. Pro does not feel that there was sufficient evidence that there was a clear impact on the goalkeeper's ability to attempt to play the ball, but that's a subjective opinion. The original on-field decision was not a clear and obvious error. So that was what Pro said back on the second, going back a week and a half in the matchup with New England. So
okay, so here's the thing, John, and this is where I'm gonna quote the laws of the game to you, and you tell me where your reasoning falls into it. A player is in an offside position at the moment the ball is played or touched by a teammate, is penalized on becoming involved in active play by interfering with an opponent, by preventing an opponent from playing or being able to play the ball clearly, or obstructing the opponent's line of vision. Again, line of vision. Mm-hmm. Not possibly in the periphery. Line of vision.
But who are we to determine that, though? That's my point.
Who are we to determine anything, John? Yeah. This is all a simulation, and we're just living it out.
Exactly.
Any other nihilist takes you want from today?
That's what we're here for. Okay, so I wanted to discuss the rebuke with you and laws of the game with you.
But I don't. Okay, I will summarize it this. I don't like Pro coming out now and saying, no, we don't like it. Because again, that happened on April 22nd? And we're in May.
And they come up with a decision May the 2nd. So 30 days has September, April, June, and November.
So like that I don't like.
11 days after the match, they come up with a public rebuke. That's another element.
And that is a complaint worth having, right?
Yes.
Is why are we doing this now? I could have understood it if it came out the week after and said, hey, we don't think this call was the correct way to use VAR or to interpret this law of the game. The week after you go, okay, well, we're not apologizing. New England still won. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah. So, I think that we would be having the discussion either way.
We've played three matches, I think.
And I know, and
plus an Open Cup.
and I think that this is the larger point that we've kind of walked into here. The fact that Pro is rebuking its own 11 days after the fact.
Yeah.
Why were you in the VAR studio for 11 days? Were you looking at this, like they do in the Premier League? And, now we have hue and cry. And
especially because if we want these referees to be more consistent, right? Again, I think that's what everyone says they want. You want referees to be more consistent. This is one of those cases where we need to say, hey, actually, this is the case of us not doing it correctly. So we can make sure everyone in the league by the next match week is on the same page, right?
Yeah,
that's what we want.
Mm-hmm. And
I
don't know. Sometimes folks want to say good luck. Okay, so I had the Leicester stomp from.
Oh gosh, what should have been a red card.
Yes. I had that in here as well as a part of the discussion, but I'm still trying to figure out, and I brought this one in. Yes, it should have been a red card. It was a blatant stomp, and it was a blatant red. I'm still trying to figure out how you miss these things. And it was just one of those moments where, and I wanted to kind of get into the human element of it here.
So this is where we are talking about the Chelsea, Leicester City match over the weekend at Leicester City. Alyssa Thompson gets tackled really high. I mean, above her shin guard, not quite at her knee, but definitely above her shin guard. It's a bad challenge, reckless. At best, it is a reckless challenge, right?
Oh.
At best, it is a reckless challenge. In the corner, while Alyssa Thompson is about to break away from this defender. The referee immediately comes with a yellow card, which I think my issue here is it seemed like the referee had said, oh, I'm just pulling out a card to make sure people see that I have a card in my hand. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's like, hey, you're justifying your existence, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And which, again, is not a bad piece of game management, right? You want to show yes, I'm confident here. But I think this should have taken a moment to confirm with your assistant referee, who these people have the communication headsets, so it shouldn't take that long to say, hey, I saw a bad foul. What did you see? And you can say, yeah, it was really high. And I don't know. Maybe they said, hey, I think it's just a yellow card. I'm not quite sure. But that piece of communication I would like to hear, because I'm curious how those two work together to say, yeah, it's only a yellow card. Abby, they do not have VAR in the Women's Super League for regular season matches. And therein lies the issue with all of this. When you still have a lot of teams that play at second or third division grounds, however you want to classify them. Yeah. They do not have the capabilities for VAR, especially if they're not like Chelsea or City or United or Arsenal that play in Champions League often, and they have to fit them for VAR, right?
Right. Yeah.
They don't have them. Now, again, we're playing at Leicester City Stadium, and the last time I checked, John, Leicester City Stadium should be fit for VAR.
Yeah. Unless they cut the cord on it for budget issues, but no. But I kind of say that half joking.
Well, they are. Well,
King Power should be
the
King Power should have the facilities and the technology available for it. Yes.
Yeah. But remember, guys, Europe is doing so much better with the women's game than the U.S. is. Just keep that in mind.
Wow, man. Yeah. Yeah.
That we can't have VAR in the English First Division.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To protect players in a case like this, that should be a red card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I do want to discuss the NWSL with you after we get through cards and calls. So yeah, this was once again another oversight by a league involving technology. And I know that if you can't have it all, then you shouldn't have it for any. I get that. Trust me, as someone who is up to date with video review when it comes to certain times of the year and certain games and certain situations, trust me, I understand if you can't have it for all, you can't have it for any. And I would say that Open Cup should be one of those where you should have it at least by the round of 16 in. But apparently, once again, same thing. If you can't have it for all, then you can't have it for any. I get it. I understand it. But this is another situation to remind us that you really need it, especially if you're discussing a high-profile player that has a high-profile moment happen that could impact team and national team play. But I digress. Third moment before we get into NWSL and MNT and all the other things that might be on your bow this morning, Yanks abroad. The San Diego LAFC ending.
Whew, it got a little wild.
I was waiting for your response there. For those that were not up late to either hear or see this, you had your moments of chaos. San Diego had a lead, and then you have a goal from LAFC off a set piece, and then you have an equalizer late. It's 2-2, and then in 13 minutes of stoppage time, because of CJ Dos Santos colliding with an LAFC player, and he's wearing
an LAFC player colliding with CJ Dos Santos.
Yeah. And CJ Dos Santos coming into this match was wearing the Phantom of the Opera mask. And he still has the collision.
Poor guy.
And you had, I think it was 4 minutes added. And so you're in like the 13th minute of stoppage, and you end up with the moment that you have. And it was the San Diego radio crew was beside themselves about how Ryan Hollingshead was not called. The handball was not called later than late. That could have resurrected full points for San Diego. So what did you think here?
Okay, so I'm going to need you to break down exactly where they think the handball was, and then I'll explain why this went against San Diego.
Okay,
so I'll let you run through that.
All right, so so of course now you're asking me to grab the game, and so I'm sitting here going, I've got to grab the game. And so all I have to do is go to the game replay, and then
go to the very end.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing. So we go. I don't want to browse all clubs. Well, maybe if this does it faster, I can do it this way. All right. So browse all clubs. I'm in my San Diego here. So matches, add to best of Anders Dreyer. No. I don't want that. Let me see if
can't just go to the highlights.
Well, but did they show it in the highlights? That's my question.
Yeah, they did.
They did. Okay, so I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
All right. So and so of course I'm in here going full replay, and so I'm all the way in the it's the kanji here. All right. So I'm scrolling backward. Okay. So 101 plus 9, 101.51. I'm waiting for the outrage. And coming forward, where is it? Okay, so I think it's a set piece late. Or is
it was a corner kick, I believe.
Oh, the corner kick with Hollingshead.
Dying breath.
Okay, got it. 103.20 with Hollingshead. So you end up with the...
Hold on, John. Say that timestamp again.
103.20. Yeah, where Dylan Faree comes in for CJ Dos Santos. And you end up with Ryan Hollingshead off the corner. So here we go. So Hollingshead off the corner in swinger, and in all of the chaos coming in. Where's my close-up? All right, so push. Okay, so it is as it's rolling down the left arm after first contact. So first contact comes in. It's rolling off of the head of the LA player. Then it goes down the arm, goes off the left arm, rolls off the left arm, goes to Hollingshead, and Hollingshead puts it past Faree. So that's what we're looking at here. So header, rolls, hits the arm, rolls down the arm, Hollingshead sees it, puts it behind Faree, and that's the goal. That's what they're looking at.
So we're going to work backward from the goal.
Hollingshead, yes. Yeah.
Ryan Hollingshead has committed no offense before he puts the ball in the back of the net, right? I think we all agree we're good there.
Yes.
So therefore, the goal is good. Now we work back from that, and you say, okay, well, but yes, the assist comes technically off the arm of his teammate. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky, because not too long ago, this probably, maybe, possibly could have been ruled out.
Okay.
Because we did have in the laws of the game, Law 12, under handball, there was a stipulation that said if the assist basically came from a handball, that you could not do it. You could not score it. So that was how it was. That no longer exists. It only says if it comes directly from your arm or from your arm to a play immediately to you kicking the ball or whatever in the back of the net. That is only the goal, not the assister, not anything like that. Only the goal scorer. That we worry about that now. So when we get to this LAFC play, you have to then say, okay, well, it comes off. We agree. It comes somewhere off the arm of Hollingshead's teammate, right? I think that's
So
I think we can all agree on that.
Schwanier rolls off of Schwanier after contact, hits Hollingshead. Hollingshead's goal.
Head, arm, right to Hollingshead. Hollingshead puts it home. Right, basically.
Right. Yeah.
I think we all agree it does hit the arm in some way, in some location. Hits the arm of Schwanier.
Yeah, it roller coasted down, and yeah.
The question now becomes, is it a handling offense? Because if it is, then we need to call it back. Well, I got two things that I say that why it's not a handling offense. First is, I don't know, John, you can't tell me it hits him in a non-playable part of the arm. You get what I'm saying? It's up here. It's a little above his shoulder, his armpit, it's like right below his shoulder.
First contact,
maybe
literally
in the middle of the bicep. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like head, bicep, rolls down the screen machine, and it's pushed over to Hollingshead for the slam dunk. Yeah.
It maybe hits. I don't even know if it rolls, but it's like, okay, it kind of hits. Okay, fine. Maybe it's in the non-playable part of the arm. Again, maybe. That to me is not clear or obvious from the reviews from the what we can see basically on the replay. Now, if you go through the VAR thing, I'm sure they have more angles that you can look at. But what did you just say? Where did it come from? It came from what part of his body?
Well, initially it goes head, bicep, roller coaster.
Correct. Yeah. So that brings a whole nother element into this. One of the things that we've been talking about with handballs recently is if it comes from a part of your playable part of your body, foot, thigh, knee, abdomen, chest, head, shoulder, and then it hits your arm, we are giving more grace to that. As long as your arm is we go back to the whole not unnaturally bigger type of thing. So I think the problem for San Diego, while I agreed that it probably hits the player's arm.
Yeah.
Well, the arm is not in an unnatural position, in my opinion, at all. It's pretty much by his side.
Yeah.
I don't even think he's fully extended. He's,
I mean, as he's jumping, it is a natural position for the arm to be in as Schwanier is climbing. Yeah. And so he's
elevating. I don't think he's even made himself weirdly bigger with the jump. To me, his arm is pretty much he's coming. So it comes off his head to first off, I think it hits a playable part of the arm. I definitely think it hits above his bicep, which fine. And then rolls down a little bit, sure. None of this is bad in terms of the handling part of the laws of the game. And while, yes, it does lead to a goal, as Abby says in the comments, it doesn't go right into the goal. It goes to a teammate who then puts it in the goal. And that, at that point, it doesn't matter. So while, yes, San Diego, you can cry that it hit his arm, that doesn't mean it's a handling offense. Okay. And again, there are multiple reasons why it's not. But the number one reason is, in this case, right, it does not directly lead to a goal, like him scoring. The player scoring, not his teammate, him scoring, right. Shunmier. Then, again, can't fully definitively tell me it hits him in a non-playable part of the arm from the angle that I'm looking at here. Again, I don't have access to all the VAR angles. Well, it comes from part of his head, or from part of his playable part of his body, possibly onto a non-playable part of the arm, but that arm is in a natural position. So it just is like every single thing that you could possibly say, oh, this is a handball. It doesn't meet that criteria.
Okay. All right. And like I said,
I'll just say that I'm shocked there was no card given for, I think it was Denny Bouanga, for putting a cleat into the face of CJ Dos Santos, because Dos Santos had the ball and Bouanga's second foot somehow finds its way into the head and face area of Dos Santos. So shout out San Diego for continuing to help the next generation of USMNT goalkeepers by then putting in, the Duran Ferry. I can't pronounce his last name, but we got two young goalkeepers there. But that to me was a bigger issue in all of this. I'm shocked Denny Bouanga didn't have an actual punishment for that.
And all the chaos, things kind of go by the wayside.
It was chaotic.
Yes. Oh man, that whole everything from 90 to 102, it was nuts. NWSL, Boston finally got the Duke. They finally got their first win. They got points.
Got their win.
They were in a match in the midweek against North Carolina where they had a lead, lost it, got a point, and they played Denver. They play at Gillette. They have a 5-goal shootout. They win 3-2. So Boston is officially in the books with a win in team history.
Yeah. Hey, look, they got 4 points in 1 week. That's more than they ever had before this. Congratulations to Boston.
Yes.
Again, I think they were always going to be a little bit of a struggle this season. I think when you look at their roster, they just didn't quite they didn't build a super competitive roster. That's fine. Every expansion team has their own way about going about things.
Yeah.
I don't think Boston's roster is super competitive. They beat the other expansion team at home. Okay, good for you. A little bit of revenge there. Fine. But that is one of the stories of the weekend.
Hit me with the others in your mind, sir.
Well, let's talk about the fact that we have Gotham getting 2 weeks on the bounce and the 2 wins on the bounce this week, which Gotham needed because they were not doing hot when you look at the standings. And if you ask any Gotham fan, they were really frustrated that this team was dominating basically every game they were playing in, but scoring like 0.05 goals a game, it felt like. So they get lots of goals this week, which I think is the best thing. I got 3 goals in 2 matches, 2 shutouts, 6 points. For Gotham, that was definitely needed. They are now still not high up in the standings. They're 4th, but again, they were not doing well. They were, I think, outside the playoff line, if I remember, coming into this week. So that, to me, is a bigger story, is Gotham, 2 wins on the bounce this week, ascending up the standings. And then the next story, John, is the team at the top of the standings, Portland, beating Chicago 2-0 in Chicago. I don't think that's a shock. But really what we care about from this game is 2 future U.S. soccer stars meeting up, because we had the children of Sophia Smith and Mal Pugh, Mal Swanson, meeting up before the game. And that is really what matters. You saw Alyssa Nair holding both of them, just adorable video. And I think that's really what's important from that game.
Yes. the adorability factor was very high as Gotham went on to win 2-0.
Very high.
Yeah. So standings right now, NWSL after the weekend. Portland is at 19 points. Spirit and Wave at 15. Here comes Gotham from lane 8. They're now at 4th at 14 points. Utah Royals.
Very much that.
Gotham's at 14 and 4th. Utah Royals in 5th right now. And then it's Seattle, Houston, and Angel City. Courage are in 9th at 9 points. And then you've got there's chaos at 9 points. You have Angel City, Courage, Bay, and Current, all separated by goal difference. And then that gets you to 12th. Purple Team, Denver, Chicago, Racing Louisville, and Boston on the board with their first win. So that is where we are in the NWSL, sir. Yanks abroad. What stuck with you this past weekend from the apparent unlimited frustration for folks in Italy having to do with Christian Pulisic and the schneid that he is currently on?
Mm-hmm. You know, oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna get this because it's been bothering me all week. Herc Gomez tweeted yesterday, like, I think he basically, I'm paraphrasing Herc, so I apologize, but he said basically, USMNT fans are way more concerned with the form of Christian Roldan than they are Christian Pulisic. And this is on the back of Mauricio Pochettino saying that Christian Roldan is the perfect player. His words, not mine. That's the quote. And so that obviously set off a firestorm on USMNT social media, including for me, because that's crazy talk. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Christian Roldan is a very, very nice human. I'm sure that he is well loved by everyone who's ever met him. To call him the perfect player is idiocracy, because I would like to know, Mauricio, when you leave this job at the end, they'll take whatever big, high-paying job you're probably going to get in the Premier League. Are you signing Christian Roldan? Since he's the perfect player, are you signing him? Come on, bro. Stop lying to us. Stop. That is idiocracy. It just is. And yeah, look, we're complaining about the 26th player on the roster, but, call me crazy. I think you could improve the roster with your 26th player, not bring in a guy just because he's nice and, I don't know, is a good social media content. And my point was, we're guaranteeing a roster spot to this dude only because he can go to a Super Bowl and we can follow him around. Great. Anyway, enough about Christian Roldan, because let's talk about Christian Pulisic. It's not great. I think that's a fair question from her, because, why aren't we concerned about the Christian Pulisic form? And we are. But what are we going to do about it? He's still going to, this is the problem that the U.S. is still getting into, right? And this is where everyone who complained about lack of urgency and lack of competition within the team. Name a player better than Christian Pulisic on the USMNT. I have one who's playing in the same league.
Okay. Weston McKennie.
Right. Okay, Wes is probably playing better than Christian Pulisic right now. But, the problem is there's no player who is better than Christian Pulisic for this team. That's just the reality is he's going to probably be the best player on the field. Maybe not the most impactful, right. But when you look at what he is as a player, you're like, well, yeah, he's our best player we have right now. Again, I think Wes is in better form, and I would like for Christian to, I don't know, get an assist at least every now and then. And he's not playing well. That is a fair criticism of Christian Pulisic. The question I just want to have is, so what are you going to do about that from the U.S. national team perspective? Are you saying you're not calling him up because he's not scoring for Milan and Serie A? Okay, he's still playing a good bit. It's not his fault that Milan is also not playing well as a whole. And yes, you can look at him and say, okay, it's a little bit, it's a little bit, I don't want to say his fault, but he's part of the problem. He's not scoring as much. He's not producing as much. That's fine. But the whole team is not doing great. Mm-hmm. And, when you're still the top scorer for your team at 8 goals, and you're telling me that you haven't scored in forever, is that a him problem or is that a team problem?
Well,
and I don't know the answer.
Well, but I mean, and you get into the whole chicken and egg argument, because is it a him problem because he is not surpassing the issues of his club, or is it because everyone knows there are issues with his club offensively that they focus on him and make sure that he doesn't get anything going, and then everyone else is not contributing around him?
And that's the question that you could probably ask another dude on this network who probably knows way more about AC Milan than I do. But like legit, that to me feels like a Nick Leafy question in the sense of like what the hell is wrong with this team right now? I can't answer that. I can just tell you that yeah, Christian Pulisic is not finding the back of the net. He's not getting in good enough goal scoring areas.
Right.
And he's not getting in enough dangerous positions to help his team score. That's fair. Those are fair criticisms of Christian Pulisic.
Right.
Who the hell else is doing that at Milan?
I'm just saying.
But those are the questions. Right. I agree with you, John. Like you can say, yeah, Christian isn't producing. That's fair. No one else at Milan is really doing that either.
Right. And so that's the there's the rub, as they say in Latin. Abby with the trivia question: when did he last score for the M&T? And do you when was the last time Christian Pulisic scored in a? And the fact that you're having to think about it.
Oh, I mean, it wasn't last. It wasn't last year. It would have been 2024, because he didn't score during. Part of the problem with Christian, he doesn't play for the national team.
That's true.
He's only played 50% of the time that he's ever been a part of this national team picture. So he didn't play in the Gold Cup last summer, which, going out on a limb here, probably would have scored during that. He didn't score during the March Nations League window. Famously, that was a problem. But he also didn't play in those warm-up friendlies. He obviously didn't play in the January camp. He didn't play most of the time in any of the fall friendlies. September. He scored in September.
Okay.
Yes, didn't he? Or did he have an assist? Hold on, now I gotta go back and remember my.
Yeah, I'm trying to find.
He scored against either. I think he scored against Japan. I'm looking it up too.
Yeah, so we're all chasing after the breaking. We're trying to find the stats on Christian Pulisic here, and they don't have a game by game on the U.S. Soccer website.
They don't. They do not. Hold on. I'm gonna go back and look it up. I'm pretty sure he scored against Japan.
Okay.
No, he did not. He assisted against Japan.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Yeah, he assisted Balogun against Japan. So there's something. Okay. He did not play in either the either of the October friendlies or the November friendlies, which again is the problem.
Okay, so the last goal he had November 18th of 24 against Jamaica.
Yeah, in a Nations League
A game. Yeah,
against Jamaica. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that is a problem. That is absolutely a problem. So I would again say, well, he's not playing a whole lot. So
yeah,
he played November. He didn't play in the January friendlies that we had again for the Camp Cupcake. He obviously didn't score in March for the Nations League, and then he only played in the September window last year. He only played in 2 windows last year. 4 total games.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the problem. Mm-hmm. That is the problem. And that's one of the biggest criticisms we've had of Mauricio Pochettino, is he is too lenient on these guys on whether or not they're coming to play or not.
Or is he trying?
And I get it. He wants them to be healthy, but
right. Or is he trying to find he knows that Pulisic's going to be a part at the end, or is he trying to find the other elements?
So now we're back to my original statement with this whole thing, right? and that's the problem, John. I mean, I agree that yes, there was a level of Pochettino trying to explore the depths of the player pool. It's not very deep, and that's a noble cause. What did we find from that? Name the left winger we found.
Yeah, exactly. I know folks who got injured.
You know, yeah. And so that's the problem here is we can criticize Christian Pulisic's form at club level. That is a valid conversation to have. What are you going to do? Bench him? You going to bench him for the national team? Who's playing left winger? Max Arston? Not saying it's a good or bad decision, but come on, Haji Wright, maybe Haji's the answer, but
see, there you
come
go.
on, you're telling me, yeah, I mean that could be it, but like even the last time he played for the national team, we saw him fully. He was playing as a freaking false 9, John.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? So, I
know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, you can criticize him. He hasn't scored a lot for the national team. He's been down for Milan. That's fine. He's a streaky player. You just have to hope he's on a hot streak when he comes stateside in June. That's really all it comes down to. Because if yes, as Christian Pulisic goes, the U.S. national team goes. That's not a secret. Luckily, we have guys like Flair and Balogun and Weston McKennie who are playing really well and scoring. Even beyond that, I think Haji Wright is a good off the bench option. You have Malik Tillman, who's playing decently well in Germany. But all in all, if Christian Pulisic is not on, the U.S. is not going to make it very far in this home World Cup.
Yes. Sorry, I keep staring over my left shoulder. We've got a head injury in the Chelsea-Nottingham Forest match.
Oh, boy.
Looked like it was a coming together of heads. Abbott for Nottingham Forest. Player yet to be determined for Chelsea. Nottingham Forest up 2-0 late first half. And news out of the Premier League, Fabian Hertzler has signed an extension with Brighton. What else do we need to know with the Soccer for USPod?
Oh, good for him. Well, we put out an episode last week talking about the U.S. women's national team friendlies. We'll be recording this week talking about some of the things going on with the U.S. national team. Probably a little bit about Christian Pulisic, to be honest. But it's weird, John. We played at the end of March, and we don't play again until literally the last day of May. So there's this like weird. The women aren't playing, the men aren't playing. We ain't got anything. So we gotta make up. Talk.
There's always stuff to talk about. As always, my friend, it's great to see you here on Monday to break everything down, and especially the San Diego aggrievedness after the equalizer where Ryan Hollins
they were
scored.
Aggrieved, and they can be aggrieved. That doesn't mean they're right.
Right. So we will catch up with you next time, my friend. It's always great to see you.
Great to see y'all. Thanks everyone for helping us out with the Golden Spot Saturday. By the way, that was really cool experience. Abby and everyone, thank you.
Yeah. Bart and a spike. I'm sure the video's out there somewhere. Somebody's got it on the phone. Come on,
Someone's got it. I'll post
it.
it probably later today.
All right, be good. See you, my friend.
Bye, y'all.
There he goes. There's Bart, and there goes Bart. All right, so still down. We're like in the 4th or 5th minute of administering here, and the Chelsea player is, I got to see who this is. And like I said, we're not doing play-by-play, but it is a serious moment in the match. And so let me see if we have identified, because it was Abbott for Forest, and trying to see who the, let's see who the Chelsea player is. And I'm trying to go back. Jesse Derry. Okay, so it's Jesse Derry and Abbott for Nottingham Forest. And so, yeah, we're in like the 5th minute of added time. And so Jesse Derry contacted 44:36 is the still. So they're trying to stabilize Jesse Derry at the moment. And they're going to put him on. They've got him on a backboard. It's the one that they assemble that's in 2 pieces and they bring together so they don't have to roll players over all that much. So looks like Jesse Derry. Yeah, Jesse Derry and Abbott for Nottingham Forest. So keeping an eye on that, obviously, as we go here in this one. But keep an eye out on the update on Jesse Derry. Chelsea had been awarded a penalty with this contact, and so let's see if it is going to. We get the PK, but we're still like in the 5th minute of administering to Jesse Derry. So Derry goes inside the 18. They award a penalty, and it was contact with Abbott. So obviously we'll keep an eye. Out on this substitution coming in for Chelsea at this point. But, yeah, we're in the 6th minute of administering to Jesse Derry. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on here with him as we go to the break. Okay. Other stuff that we need to get into this morning. And there's you've had some folks that were winning championships. And I guess this is where we kind of look at things involving the other leagues in and around the world, because we're not going to have SOT tonight. So we kind of can look at all of these things. First and foremost, the USL has a collective bargaining agreement. And so the collective bargaining agreement with the USL and the USLPA and Midfield Press claimed to have had a leak of the document. So if I could figure out how to type, then I could break this down for you and let you know what's going on with Midfield Press. So then you have tentatively agreeing on a new CBA, and this happened over the weekend. And from Jeff Carlisle over at the Four Letter, once it's finalized and ratified, set to last through 2030, and with a trigger related to health insurance that could extend the CBA through 2031. Tentative deal was reached amid a push by the USL to institute a separate Division I league, the USL Premier. Once again, sitting on top of the championship, also getting promotion relegation as soon as 2028. Two sides have been engaged in negotiations for almost 2 years. Previous CBA had expired New Year's Eve. So players in USL League One, while represented in bargaining, have a separate CBA. Some of the terms of the new CBA will apply to USL Premier. Milestone, you get your joint statement talking about professional standards and everything, and everybody's happy. Increasing the minimum contract length from 10 months to 12, increasing minimum base compensation, health insurance for all players, elimination of unilateral contract buyouts and increases in compensation for the players' name, image, and likeness rights. Protections for players contracted to teams that cease operations was also an issue that came up during negotiations. Sources tell Carlisle standard minimum compensation for players in USL Championship is now $42,000 for 2026, basically up about 25%. Minimum compensation for players in USL Premier will be $67,000 when the league kicks off in 2028. Separate category of players will receive what are called entry-level contracts, though there won't be any in 2026, considering that season is already going. Those numbers are $34,000 for championship, up from 26, so about a 25% increase. $50,000 for USL Premier. Number of entry-level contracts is limited to 4 per team in USL Championship and 6 in USL Premier. Those numbers only apply to salary and housing allowances. Medical insurance and bonuses, which had previously been included in base compensation figures, are now separate line items. Unilateral buyouts of contracts in mid-season have been eliminated, though out-of-season buyouts are still in place. Individual clubs now must offer players health insurance and will offer players the same health plan offered to the team's front office personnel, an approach that was preferred by the USL. But there is a possibility the two sides can agree on a league-wide plan for players at a later date. If this happens, that'll trigger the adding of the additional year to the length of the CBA. Derry is now being taken off on a stretcher. And so it was 7 minutes of administering to 9 minutes of administering to Jesse Derry. And we will resume play, I believe, with the penalty kick attempt by Chelsea here, as we're now in the 55th minute. Name, image, and likeness rights have not been ironed out. It's going to apply to other leagues besides the championship, including League One, Premier, and the Super League. Plan is for USL to make a contribution and then have individual clubs make contributions to the NIL piece as well. Proposed CBA gives, according to Carlisle, greater protections for players who are contracted with teams that cease operations, though the level of protection varies based on the time of year that a team opts to close its doors. So 5 minutes initially added, save by the keeper for Nottingham Forest. Big save for them to keep the 2-0 lead right now. And so, once again, big save for Mott Sells in the 55th minute. Initially, it was 5 minutes that were going to be added. And so now if you go, Sells had it, pretty much had it pegged from the absolute beginning. So Cole Palmer went up to the spot. And, yeah, I mean, he tried to send it with the left, with the side of his foot. And Mott Sells had pretty much diagnosed it from the second that he planted his right foot. So Cole Palmer misses the penalty, and Nottingham Forest still with a 2-0 lead. So keep an eye on that. So that was one of the larger pieces of news leading into the weekend. So we've got the where to watch it, how to watch it. We've got all the player news. We have all the gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Remember, noon is Red Clay Monday. It is going to be Jason Galt from West Forsyth. It's going to be Rob Husted on his personal computer at 12:15, and then Dr. Mike Tolmick from Brookwood as they promote the match tonight. That is going to be at 12, 12:15, 12:30. We'll go for all the brackets and the matchups, and we'll get you through Red Clay Monday. Remember, 5:30, it is going to be an opportunity for us to go to Model. Jason's going to Model, and it's going to be Model and Jeff Davis. And then at 7 o'clock, Maddie and I will be at West Forsyth for Brookwood and West Forsyth. So 2 games on the network. Model and Jeff Davis should be ending by about the time that we'll be getting up and running. So we'll be up a little before 7 o'clock. Go to soccerdownhere.net and go to the Listen tab. You'll get Jason and his action at Model at 5:30, and you'll get our action from West Forsyth coming up at 7 o'clock. So that's big stuff for us today here on a quarterfinal Monday. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo. A lot of names are currently in the mixer right now. And so let me see if I can find okay, so your trending rumors as we have them. Liverpool and Arsenal on alert as PSG forward Bradley Barcola could become available this summer, according to Team Talk. Contract expiring in 28. PSG's forwards reps have reportedly begun working on looking at some potential moves should an opportunity become available. Liverpool is linked as they look for a replacement to Mo Salah. Arsenal remain keen on strengthening their forward ranks, 12+7 in all comps for Barcola this year. Man City midfielder Tiani Reinders could leave the club in coming weeks, just a year after joining from AC Milan for €55 million, according to Football Insider. Several Serie A clubs, including Juve, reported to have shown interest in signing the Netherlands international. Quick start to life with a goal and an assist in his debut, seen a reduction in his playing time recently. Uncertainty over Ferran Torres' future at Barcelona as he nears the final year of his contract. AS reports there's a standstill in negotiations between club and player. Some sources believe that Barcelona have decided against a renewal altogether. 20 goals in 46 appearances in all comps, and it could have him hold out to leave to be a free agent next year. Real Madrid striker Gonzalo Garcia only allowed to leave permanently for a fee of €60 million, says AS, and he hasn't started in La Liga since early March, being tracked by a bunch of European clubs as a loan or a permanent move is possible. Madrid holding firm on their demands for a transfer fee. Villa reigniting their interest in Juve striker Jonathan David from last summer, according to Tuttosport. 8 goals in 44 appearances, but he could move on just 1 year after his free from Lille. Juve looking to refresh their forward lines. Dusan Vlahovic could leave as a free agent at the end of the season. Other rumors. Real Madrid have no intention of letting Endrick leave this summer. Continues to be monitored by Premier League clubs Chelsea and Arsenal on loan at Lyon this season. That's from Team Talk. Football Insider, Bayern Munich's Harry Kane set for new talks over a contract extension. Current deal running through 27. Ekrem Konur. Barcelona, Inter Milan, PSV Eindhoven tracking a move for Nathan Ake as he wants to leave the Premier League club. Football Insider, ongoing doubts over Rodri's future at Manchester City, who are preparing a midfield overhaul in the summer. Nicolas Shearer, Manuel Akanji at City, will join Inter on a permanent deal as he has reached conditions in his loan deal that trigger the move. Corriere dello Sport. Juve will present an offer to Bournemouth for Marcos Senesi before he becomes a free agent. Premier League clubs also linked. Nicolas Shearer, again, Schalke want to keep Edin Dzeko at the club after the 40-year-old striker helped get them back into the Bundesliga, gaining promotion over the weekend. Newcastle have joined AC Milan's race to sign Corinthians midfielder Andre Luiz, 19, as he continues to impress in the Brazilian top flight. They have blown the whistle at the half. Forest leading at 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. And obviously we're going to keep an eye out and an ear out for Jesse Derry and his status. Eddie Howe also set to remain as Newcastle's boss next season, barring a, quote, unexpected change of circumstances, according to David Ornstein. So that's your gossip, rumor, and innuendo this morning as we lay it all out for you here. Now, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Remember, this is Bank Holiday Monday, and so that was why we've got the matchup going on right now. You have at BN The Polish League at 1 o'clock. Radomiak Radom and Lechia Gdansk. You can get the Polish League, the French League, and the Turkish League, Libertadores, Sudamericana, links to Tigo Sports, links to CATV, all the BNs, and I mean all the BNs, which means you get all of the activity in AFCON, the CAF, you get AFCON Champions, you get CAF Champions League, all of that at all the BNs, you get that at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. That link is important. It helps us, it helps them, it helps you. Adds to the streaming services that you already have, gets you a lot more of the action going on in South America. You get TSA out of Argentina and their great coverage of the day-to-day, plus Copa Argentina, CDO out of Chile, TVV out of Venezuela. You get, let's see, what else do you get? What's there? You get the LPF, you get Argentina, Liga 1 Max Pro out of Peru, a lot of the A and B divisions in South America. So we'll keep an eye on all of those things. Add to those streaming services at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. Hearts and Rangers at 12:30 in the Scottish Premiership. Joe's probably going to be watching that. The 3 o'clock game, Everton and Manchester City, Monday Night Football, 3 o'clock on USA. ESPN Deportes, La Liga at 3 o'clock. Fox Deportes, doubleheader Serie A, 12:30 and 2:45. Universo simulcasting the Premier League. ESPN Plus has La Liga at 3 o'clock, and Paramount Plus simulcasting Serie A at 12:30 and 2:45. Hang on just a second. Proper hydration. So just to recap where things are, just to give you an idea, noon, it's Red Clay Monday. Jason Galt, head coach at West Forsyth, right off the top. Rob Husted off his personal laptop in a hot spot. That's going to be at 12:15. And Mike Tolmick, the head coach, Dr. Mike Tolmick, is going to join us at 12:30. Then we'll get you ready for the girls' quarterfinals, bracket start times, all the things. We'll have that for you coming up noon Eastern across the network. 5:30 tonight, it is going to be Jason at Model, Class A D1, number 6 versus number 2, Jeff Davis at Model. Brian Lawson and Donnie Mendance, they are going at it to 5 o'clock this afternoon. My guess is that Lawson is probably on his way. Jeff Davis is probably on their way north as we speak. So Class A Division I upper right, Model and Jeff Davis, number 6 at number 2. That is going to be on the network at 5 o'clock, at 5:30. And then at 7 o'clock, a little before 7, Brookwood at West Forsyth. And that one will be with me and Maddie at West Forsyth. So at noon, we'll have everything laid out for you there with all the high school activity. Like I said, coach at noon, coach at 12:15, hopefully, coach at 12:30, matchups. We'll have all that for you coming up for Red Clay Monday at noon. All right, so what else is going on that we need to know about? Obviously, we were looking at who got promoted, who didn't, and who is in their league once again, and coaches that are mad. Did you see the goal in the Canadian Premier League where the guy scored and then he brought out his business card out of his sock because he's a real estate agent? He scored, flashed his business card for his real estate license to the camera as a part of the goal celebration. I'm wondering if he's getting any more business because of it. So we also got to see what's going on in the lower divisions in England. We know who's now going after the promotion playoff spots and all of that. It and also was a great day if you're a fan of Sheffield Wednesday. The new owners were announced, and it was an opportunity for the proposed 15-point penalty that they're going to start League One with, got wiped off the books. So they're going to start at 0 points in League One. Since they didn't want to play with Defon Chansiri, the previous owner, they're like, no, we're not paying him $20 million, but we settled everything by May the 1st. And so they did that. 15 points got wiped out. They're going to be at 0 starting in League One next year. After all of the math was done, Coventry City and Ipswich, the two teams that are going to be automatically promoted. Hull City is at Millwall. Middlesbrough is at Southampton. Wrexham, because they could not find another goal, ended up with 71 points. They finished 2 points out of the promotion playoffs in the EFL. So it was there were a lot of points. They were all over the place. There were a lot of points that they left on the table, especially early. And had they had a win here or a win anywhere, just give me 4 points. Give me 2 games where you end up with a draw and you end up with a win and you end up with the promotion playoff spots and possibly even being promoted outright, because it was crazy what they left on the table. Hull and Millwall, by the way, they're playing later this week. They are playing on Friday, their first leg. They're playing their leg on Friday, and then their Middlesbrough and Southampton are playing on Saturday. So standings in the championship, who's going down? We know that Sheffield Wednesday was going down. By the end of it all, Leicester was going down, Oxford United going down. So that we knew, all of that. West Brom survives with George Campbell. They were 4 points clear at the end of it all. And so Watford fires their manager. They had a 32-word statement, signed him to a 2.5-year deal, fired him at the end of this year. So the half. 2 years left on a contract, fired. What else is new at Watford? So, great season once again for Wrexham in their first season in the championship. In League One, just to give you an idea of the chaos that was there, Saturday's playoffs, Stevenage, Stockport, Bolton, and the Bantams of Bradford City. Standings there automatically promoted as it loads. Lincoln and Cardiff. Then you had the chaos of the final day where you end up with 6 teams separated by 4 points. Stockport won, Bradford City won, Bolton lost, Stevenage won, Luton won 4 of their last 5, outside looking in. Plymouth Argyle won 2 in a row. Someone please send up an SOS for Tony Husband. And Stockport hosting Stevenage, Bolton hosting Bradford City, 77 on goal difference, 75 on goal difference, Luton at 74, Plymouth Argyle at 73. Teams that were relegated, Northampton, Rotherham, Port Vale, Exeter ended up being the 4th one, as they only drew their last 3 and then lost on decision day. Leyton Orient, by the way, survived, and their coach went off on the team, who he thought that they played like you-know-what, and didn't need to be celebrating the fact that they were staying up. So that was one of the more interesting takes by a manager at the end of the season when they survived. So he was not a manager at Leyton Orient, was not a happy man, and you end up with them staying up, but probably either a manager who's going to be leaving or a bunch of players who are going to be leaving come the summer. League Two, just to give you an idea of who is in the playoffs: Grimsby hosting Salford City, Chesterfield hosting Notts County, and in the standings, automatically promoted in League Two, Bromley, the Carpetbaggers, and Cambridge United, 1, 2, 3. And then you had 6 teams separated by 6 points from 3 through 8. Barnet is on the outside looking in. Swindon finished with 75. They lost 3 of their last 4. So Grimsby at Salford. Grimsby and Salford is just 7-4. Chesterfield, Notts County is the 6-5. And you had Cambridge at 82, Salford City at 81, Notts County at 80, Chesterfield 79, Grimsby at 78, Barnet at 76, and Swindon at 75. Going down, Harrogate and Barrow. And the head coach at Barrow actually apologized. He apologized to the fans for letting them down, having lost 4 of their last 5, and they're going back to the National League. And we get to see who's coming up from the National League. Probably it's going to be Rochdale and New York City, but we'll find out if everybody survives, because they were the 2 best teams. And that really should be no issue, that they should be 2 of the 3 teams that be promoted, but you're only going to get 2 promotions, the team that won and the team that wins the promotion playoff. So that's where we are in League Two. Keep an eye out in Europe today, because it looks like there is a decision that is set to be made about, I think if I remember correctly, it has to do with the Eredivisie. And so you now have new sporting directors and silly seasons, and you had people who were less than pleased about everything that was going on in 4 match days left in the champions playoffs. And then you have the reigning champs who are still Union Saint-Gilloise. And you had a lot of negativity involving them in STVV and below all standards. So it's keep an eye out for what's going on with investigations in Belgian football and so on and so forth. The Jupiler Pro League, and let's see here. So what is it's like there's no real translation. And so much for having translations. Okay. So chasing a story, and it ended up being one that you couldn't translate. Anyway. All right. So we'll keep an eye out for all that stuff. We mentioned the CBA, mentioned Stevenage getting in on a Golasso, mentioned the rebuke. KCD is set to join us tomorrow at 10 o'clock. If she can catch her breath, we'll find out about all of the leagues that she had pieces of activity in, and also a Hall of Fame speech where she got mentioned. So we'll find out about Heather O'Reilly and all of that coming up tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to be high school, MLS, KCD, all the things. Coaches joining us, hopefully, in their planning periods, because it is girls' quarters today in the GHSA, boys' quarters tomorrow in the GHSA, and we'll let you know what's going on. Red Clay today, Red Clay tomorrow. No SOT tonight because we are live at 2 places for the quarterfinals in the GHSA, 5:30 and 7 o'clock. So that is the rundown coming back here in about 45 minutes. We're going to have everything ready for you for Red Clay Monday, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. And like I said, West Forsyth, Greenbrier, and Brookwood. Those are your 3 coaches. And then we'll go through all your brackets coming up after that on a Red Clay Monday. Let me say hi to everybody before we get out of here on a Red Clay Monday. I saw that there were a lot of folks that were here. So Abby, Katie Weaver, and if you're going vibes, it might be Diego Luna at this point, Katie. Let's see. So Abby, good morning, Alex. And David, good morning. And let's see, there's Katie Weaver. And let's see what else is going on here. So it's Abby and Katie and David. And, we took care of the bot. So morning OG, morning Dell, morning Lokeville. Lokeville wants to know about the fight at 90 minutes. Basically, it was this. You had Daniel Rios standing over an AME high, and Cooper Sanchez wasn't having it. He just steps right in. It's like, back off. And that kind of sets everything off, and then you end up with Brian Vera getting a red in all of that. I imagine that CF Montreal will challenge that with the league office. But, yeah, Cooper wasn't having it. I was one of the other excerpts that I was about to bring into the show. I might bring it in tomorrow, and we'll talk about it. But literally, Cooper Sanchez, it's like, you want to stand over my teammate, then you're gonna get away. So Cooper wasn't having it, pushing away former teammate and Daniel Rios. So that was basically it. Cooper's like, back off, and then that kind of set everything off. So we'll see what happens from the league office. We'll see what happens with the league office. Morning, Coco. Let's see. There's Ricky. And there's Coco, and there's David. And yeah, and David. It is soccer right here with the GHSA. So we're going to have that at 5:30 and 7 o'clock tonight. We're negotiating right now with our game that we want to do tomorrow. So we're in a perfect world. We're going to be today, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. 2 days of quarters, 2 days of semis, and we'll see what happens. But, yeah, we're negotiating with a particular spot, and they're getting ready for the second half at Stamford Bridge, and Nottingham Forest up with the 2-0 lead. So we're coming back in about 45 minutes. We're going to break it all down for you. And it was, Cooper knows Daniel. And then basically Brian Vera was like, sir. And then, Brian Vera was the one who kind of got everything all laid out there. Brian Vera was the one who tried to dial up the pressure, and Cooper wasn't having it. So there you go. That is Monday. Thanks for coming in, as you always do. It's great to run the highlights. Great to run posts. Good to see Abe. Good to see Bart. Good to see all of y'all. Back at it again in 45 minutes. We're going to do Red Clay Monday. We got coaches to talk about everything on the high school side. Quarterfinals tonight. Quarterfinals tomorrow. We're off and running in another week of SDH. No SOT tonight because we're going to be doing high school soccer. But I will monitor picks of the week, and I will let you know what I find, because I probably lost all the matches. That's how it kind of always is. So for everybody here, it's the end of the show. That means one thing. It means that we're back here in 45 minutes. Mucho platiel. Play it safe. We'll see you in a bit.